Get Rich Slow with John Wolf. Hey, today I want to answer a pretty frequently asked question. I actually get this one relatively often, both from real estate agents and from emails from you guys, which I really appreciate. And that question is, how long does it take before I can qualify for a home loan after I was, laid off or didn't have a job or furloughed or something like that? And I'm going to give you the really short answer, and then I'm going to talk you through the concerns and what you have to do to get to a yes in a couple different circumstances. So the really short answer to how long do I need to be working a job before I qualify for a home loan is 1 day, or at least one pay stub. And that's actually going to be the correct answer for the vast majority of cases, but I know I'm really criticized by some people for being confusing and diving in deep, but the reason I feel like that's important is because I've positioned myself in the industry in my business such that I really think that I am going to be the best option for 9 out of 10 home buyers out there in the Portland metro area. And I just don't do the kind of lending the other 1% does. And so I feel like if I just give you guys all the information, you'll choose me if and when you're ready to do a home loan. So that's why. So let's get in deep. So the general circumstances that they're looking for, and this varies a lot in the government loans, and I'm talking about VA, FHA, USDA, and in the conforming conventional loan type. But what they're really how you have to prove it. But what they're really looking for is how likely is the current income that we're recording here going to continue? Or is it completely likely to continue? Is it very likely? Does it look like this guy can't or girl doesn't hold a job at all, so it's really not likely? That's really what they're looking for. So if you are, so most people have heard that there is a 2-year requirement for income for home lending. And that is a grave oversimplification / misunderstanding of what the rule actually is. The real rule is you have to have a 2-year history of work. And it's kind of funny because it has a double meaning. So let me go through it. So if you're in the situation where, this is probably the simplest version of this question. If you are just out of college and you are getting a job that's vaguely in your field. And by vaguely, I mean, if you graduated with a bachelor's in arts and science, as long as you're going into a job that utilizes the liberal arts, then you're probably good. I mean, very vaguely. It's not like, I got an archaeology degree and so, I'm making something up, but the only job that'll pair to is something involving museums or Indiana Jones stuff or oil work or something. That's just not the case at all, especially with the intention of liberal arts education being super broad. The jobs that matches to is super broad. So basically, in order to get qualified for a home loan easily, and this is kind of the easiest circumstance, if you were in college and I just need to document that you were actually in college, it's really easy. And then you started a job within 3 months of leaving college, then probably by the time you have your first paycheck, you could immediately get a home loan. That's going to be the case most of the time as far as the income question goes. A more topical answer for a lot of people, what they're worried about after the calamitous year for many in 2020 is hey, I was furloughed, then laid off, then this, then that, and a whole bunch of not fun. How long do I have a job now? How long do I have to wait before I can do a home loan? And the answer probably is you have to wait till you have one pay stub. Now let me go a little bit deeper, and that's where the other half of the 2-year work history goes. So let's say that you got let's say that you got laid off in April and it took you substantially longer than a month, maybe even substantially longer than 3 months to find another job. And maybe worse, maybe that was a temporary job in a different field, but now you are back working in your field, and you're working for, hopefully you're working for a company that's doesn't look like they're going anywhere. And previous to this, before you got laid off, you had just been a machinist for 5-10 years at the same place, or whatever your occupation is. And as long as it's the same general type, and I do like to remind people, skilled labor, that's a category. So don't box yourself in by this little type. You could, if you become a different kind of machinist or a metal finisher or something like that, that's all the same industry. So don't think that's not. But like if you worked more than 2 years straight before you got laid off, we'll document that happened. Then we'll document what happened in between, and then we'll document your new income, and you're probably going to be approved on the income side of your home loan, because that's really what they're looking for. Because again, the question the underwriter is really wanting to solve and is, does this person have a high likelihood of staying employed? And what they need to prove that is that the person has been well employed in the past. People totally get laid up from illnesses. People totally get furloughed or laid off when bad things happen in the economy in general and stuff. But the vast majority of those people, if they were well employed for 5 years before the incident that sent their life into a not happy state for a while, if they were working considerably after that, then odds are that person will land back on their feet and they will continue paying their mortgage, even if they had to defer some payments or something. So I hope that answers the question. That answers the question in general about how long do I have to wait. So remember, if you have a really simple situation and you're just in the workforce, one example that I have dealt with this isn't like a rubber stamp, this always works thing, but a good example of like how broad work history counts. So I was actually able to count the work history for a carpenter who had been convicted of a felony, and his last many years were spent working as a not very well paid carpenter in state of Oregon penitentiary institutions, helping them build new buildings because, that's great. He has to do something with his time, or it's good to do something with his time. His work as history in the penitentiary actually counted to that 2-year history. So since we were able to document that that's what he was doing in prison, we were able to document that he actually had, real employment before, and we were able to document that, he was currently solidly working now and what his, wages were now. He was able to get a home loan, which was actually really great for him because despite his incidents having nothing to do with him being a mean, awful, dangerous, violent person that you wouldn't want as a neighbor, he wasn't able to find apartments or rentals that would accept him. And that is a really big problem that a lot of ex-felons have. And it's something that I wish we'd do something more constructive than we have been doing on. But he was able to get this house with help because none of those rules exist when you're purchasing your own home. And last time I talked to him, I think he was actually renting out a bunch of his rooms to other people who were in the same situation he used to be in. So that's awesome. And I love to see that kind of stuff happening. So anyways, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, statements of interest, before you do anything else, smash that like button. If you haven't already, subscribed. If you don't like this video, hit that dislike button twice, and have an awesome day. Bye.